welcome back and thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to learn about the triangle. So most of you probably already know what a triangle is or have seen them, but what you didn't know is the rich and interesting history of the triangle, which we're going to talk about today. So the triangle is a percussion instrument, so that means you just hit it or shake it or bang it. In this case, we hit it to make a sound. So obviously you can see that the triangle is made out of metal and it's got three sides to it. It was named for its shape. I mean, that's pretty obvious. If it wasn't a triangular shape, then maybe it would be called a square or the circle. I don't know. But it is called a triangle. It is always one piece of metal, but it's always got one side that isn't joined. Why is one side not joined? Because watch what happens if I hit it and I'm joining my ends here. I'm joining my ends. Let's see what happens. No, it's kind of like hitting forks and knives together. It doesn't work. It needs one side not joined because when you hit it, there's a way for it to vibrate. This instrument works by vibrating. If it doesn't vibrate, it's not going to work. And if you join the ends together, it won't have that chance to vibrate. So we do need two open ends there in order for it to do it. Now, in order to play it, you need to use, you hit it with your mallet. And that's, I mean, it's not really a difficult instrument to make any noise on, but you definitely need to make sure that you're holding it by a string like this, so it will be played. Now, the triangle actually comes in a whole bunch of different sizes. I've got this one here, this is my biggest triangle, but they also come in smaller sizes, little BB triangles, okay? So what you'll notice is the smaller the sound, the higher the pitch. Pretty cool, huh? A cute little baby triangle. Now, a little bit of history on the triangles. Believe it or not, these things were around all the way back in ancient times, if you can believe that. But they weren't actually the shape of a triangle. In fact, its ancient ancestor from Egypt, believe it or not, was called the sistrum, and it looks something like this. So the idea with the sistrum is they'd shake it, and there are these little beads here. And you know what? I might even come a little closer so you can get a better look at that picture. So they would have little beads here, and when you shook it, it made that sound, which I mean would make you think it's more like a shaker, but believe it or not, it is an ancestor of the triangle. So these things dated all the way back to ancient Egypt and medieval times. Believe it or not, when you got into the 10th century, the triangle started to look a little bit more like a triangle. It used to have beads and whatnot at the bottom, so it would still look like a triangle, but it would have beads at the bottom, so it shook a little bit when you hit it. After that, what they did is, I believe it was past the 10th century, they took the beads off and it looked pretty well like a triangle that we know today, except the only difference is that it had a little thumb hole, so players could put their thumb in it and play it like we know today. Eventually the thumb hole was removed too, and now it just looks like this. So, believe it or not, if you were to look at paintings historically, the triangle was often one of those ones that artists like to paint a lot, and you could actually look at old paintings and see that they would have the triangle in them. So if you're ever studying art, you should go back and look through history, and you'd actually see that they had triangles in their paintings. So that's kind of cool. So thanks for joining me today. That was just a brief history about the triangle. I bet you never knew all of these things about it because, you know, generally people just see a triangle and you hit it and that's what it does. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Stay safe. Bye.